Hello everybody, my name is Fortifier and welcome to episode 1 of the Retro Masterclass. Today we're going to be talking about the foundations of retro collecting. Now, I know I make a lot of videos, most of them are educational, talking about franchises, games, reviewing them, doing funny stuff, making meme videos, well the one meme video that I made. And outside of that, I realized there really wasn't anything out there telling you how to collect. There's some videos out there, but for me, they didn't do the job. So I was like, screw it, let's make our own. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the who, what, when, where, why, and how of retro collecting. Sound good? So growing up, whenever I wanted to get games, I had to go to my grandparents. That was like the only practical way to do it. If I wanted a system, I went to my dad because that was like Christmas time, right? That's how I got a PS2, Nintendo 64, that's how I got a Wii, a Game Boy Advance, all that stuff growing up, I got situationally, right? But whenever I grew up and I wanted to buy more games, it was tough because I have to use my own money, right? Nobody likes using their own money. And when I wanted to start collecting, it was 2015, I was stationed in Alaska, and hey, by the way, nobody fucking ships to Alaska. Nobody ships to Alaska. So trying to collect on eBay, kind of a bad time. Then I got stationed down in Florida next to this badass store called Rad Junk. And I'll put the link to that down there so you can check it out. This is a great store. This is where all of my games came from for the most part. Like 90% of my games came from Rad Junk. And what started with 5 games turned into this wall and some Neo Geo and this cabinet over here, right? Insanity. But first we need to establish who you want to be as a retro collector. Now all of these 3 styles that I've pretty much come up with are directly correlating to the quality and the cost of an object that you're purchasing for your collection. So let's go ahead and get started by talking about the scavenger. The scavenger is the kind of person who is okay with buying anything and everything. This means damaged logos, cracks in the box, or even some fucking kid named David Haynes writing his name in permanent marker on the cart. Because of the dynamic nature of this style of collecting, the price point varies, but most of the time, it's fluid. Basically, think of you get what you pay for. And that applies for quality too. There's no harm in collecting like a scavenger. When it comes to budgeting, it can be tremendously helpful to know that you can go and buy a game with a damaged label and you're just gonna enjoy it for what it is, right? A piece of history versus, pristine Chrono Trigger in a box sealed that you're never gonna touch. That's just me. The next style of collecting is the purist. Purists are all about volume and presentation. If buying loose, it's in perfect condition. Sometimes they even buy things CIB or complete in box. This means that everything is inside the box. Manual, feelies, promotional items, the game, and more. Plus, the game is definitely in good condition. Also, it isn't abnormal for purists to buy things factory sealed. These are the kind of folks that preserve history and keep boxes, and because of that, it can get pretty expensive, but at least the quality is high. And finally, we have the third style, the loyalist. Loyalists are a unique breed of collectors. They focus on systems, franchises, or one specific game. For example, they'll collect everything for the Neo Geo CD, or every game in the Legend of Zelda franchise, or one game. This might sound crazy, but I do have a friend who only collects Neo Geo, Fatal Fury, Real Bout 2 items. He owns the shirts, the cabinet, the carts, the regional variances, and more. Loyalists can expect to pay a dynamic amount of money depending on what they're buying, so it can be kind of fluid. The quality, honestly, is subjective to the buyer. Now, personally for me, I feel that the best way to go about identifying who you are as a gamer is to make a sort of a hybrid. If you want to get good stuff, get good stuff. Stay loyal to whatever you want to be loyal to. If you want to fanboy on NES or Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft or anything, then that's your prerogative, and I strongly suggest that you do that. Complete a library. Completing a library is a feat, right? Because many of the games out there are expensive as shit. And if you can complete a library for like Lynx or Atari 2600, you're a fucking gaming god as far as I'm concerned, because it gets expensive. There's like 1,200 games in Atari 2600. I don't know, I don't go out for that. But anyway, if you can identify who you are as a collector, then you can go straight into the what and decide what you want to purchase. We can break this down into 3 things. You have your PC gaming, you have your console gaming, and then you have the games themselves. This is kind of self-explanatory. If you're going out and buying Nintendo 64 games and you don't even own a Nintendo 64, you're probably not doing it right. Or you could be preparing. I'm not upset. You could do what you want. I'm just telling you, it's kind of stupid. I made that mistake, honestly. I bought a few Famicom Disk System games. I didn't own a Famicom Disk System, didn't realize the amount of bullshit that comes with a Famicom Disk System, and now I'm having to deal with that bullshit with a screwdriver and patience. So go out there and decide, do I want to get a console or do I want to collect on a console that I already own? That's the big thing, right? If you are curious about the generations of gaming, I'm actually working on a Ready Go Gaming show called Generations. It's a sub-series that talks about all 9 generations of gaming, but that could be different now that we got PS5 and Xbox X Series or whatever the fuck it's called coming out. Yeah. But Generation 1 should be coming out within the next 2 months, so keep an eye out for it, alright? But anyway, identify what you want to get. So, personally, if I were you, I'd go out and buy the console, right? Don't try to beef up a library. It's gonna look really stupid whenever people are like, holy shit, Paperboy on the NES? Can I play it? And they're like, no, I don't own an NES. I like sniffing the cartridges. So go out there and buy the console that you want and then beef up the library for it. That's my best suggestion. If you're on PC, you can do it at any time. I think that most of the maintenance costs incurred for PC are just electronics failing anyway. So if you have the space to do it and you want to play older PC games, you really have 2 choices. You can go build a Windows 95 and get an adapter and, you know, stream like that, or hear me out, go to GOG. Good Old Games Galaxy is a fantastic resource to get games, especially on the PC spectrum. A lot of times they work great, sometimes they don't. I got a good track record though. And that brings us to our when. When do you want to collect? When do you buy games? Well, the truth is, it's very much a market price. There's a market for retro video games, and if you're trying to buy an older game in a series for a game that's now very popular, for example, Super Smash Brothers, for example. If you have Super Smash Brothers, most of the games in there went up in value because of Super Smash Brothers. Conker's Bad Fur Day fucking skyrocketed whenever Microsoft did the reloaded version. I think Conker's Bad Fur Day you can get for like $80 now loose, which is abhorrent, but that's just the way that it is. So if you have a game that's being remade or it's later in the series, you can anticipate that the older games are going to go up in value a little bit more. I'm not a seller. I don't sell games. I buy them. So if you want to collect games, just bite the bullet and do it now. Just make sure you budget your money. If you don't budget, you're going to find yourself wasting time and money just picking stuff off the shelf just to see something that you really like, and then, well, better do it next month, and then you're going to forget about it, and then life is going to be tough. Just buy whenever you want. Just buy whenever you want. Just make sure that you budget. My wife will be the first to tell you, if you break your budget because you're going insane on eBay, you're going to look dumb, and your wife will be mad. And then you sleep on the couch, and next thing you know, you stream on Twitch. So now you know who you are, you know that you want to buy now, and you know what you want to buy, but how are you going to do it? Like, where are you going to go? Well, you can go to eBay. eBay's a great resource. That's where I buy plenty of my games. And you have 2 options there too. You can pick out exact games that you want, or you can kind of roll the dice and buy lots. Now, lots are a group of games that are being sold in bulk at once. If you go on eBay right now and type in Nintendo 64 lot, I guarantee you'll find like one of 10 to 20 games. Most of the time, they're pretty expensive. It's just the way that it is. These are people that are trying to make money reselling things, and that's how capitalism works. Supply and demand. So if you go to eBay, just know most of the time you're going to have a great deal if you know what you're looking for. If you know what you're looking for, you're going to have a great time. If you don't know what you're looking for, you can make a really simple mistake, and that is to buy things that do not have the game inside. For example, this copy of Star Wars Bounty Hunter that I bought, that doesn't have the game inside because it's box and manual only. You gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention to these things whenever you're buying games. And as a suggestion, if you're gonna buy consoles on eBay, make sure that they take a picture of it functioning. There's nothing more irritating than getting it and then plugging it in and it's not working. Sometimes eBay sellers have a penchant to kind of screw you over too. So if they're really good people, getting a refund shouldn't be an issue, but sometimes they can be douchebags about it. The next option is stores. If you have retro stores, stop by them. It's like a time machine back to the 90s. I've got a few here. We Play East, We Play West, Grand Line Games, a few in Las Vegas that are really, really awesome, and they're pretty decently priced, and they have a very wide selection. As a matter of fact, the store I shop at has their inventory online, so I can just go online and be like, hey, this is the game I want, cool, go over there and pick it up. Or you could ship it anywhere. So find a retro store online that sells games and you can get it directly. Just bear in mind, you're going to pay a little bit more. You're always going to pay a little bit more if you're going on the internet to find something. Your third option, flea market. Flea markets, there's a good chance the game's not going to work. But if you're trying to get first gen stuff, second gen, old stuff, or maybe even older PS2 stuff, go to flea markets or Goodwills. There's a good chance that it's probably not going to work. But that's why I have a JFJ Easy Pro, which is a disc resurfacing machine, so that I can fix these. When it comes to cartridges, good luck fixing those. Unfortunately, you're not going to fix them. It is what it is. Why should you collect? Well, easy. It's cool to own a piece of history, and it's really cool to go back and own the games that you played as a kid and show them to your kids. It's like passing on the torch, hypothetically, you know what I'm saying? It's a really good feeling. My daughter loves to play Odyssey 2. Did I ever play Odyssey 2? Absolutely not! That shit's old as hell! My daughter really enjoys it. She really enjoys it. It's in black and white. She can't tell the difference. All she does is move the stuff around. She has a good time, and that's what matters. That's how my dad played with me. He let me sit in front of the NES, and I just had a blast. And I played Mario, and now look at the, you know, what I do now. It's great. And finally, the question of how. Well, we already answered one of those. You can buy lots. If you buy lots, and here's a little pro tip from me to you. If you buy lots on eBay, if you have duplicate games, over here, you can sell them back. Or alternatively, you can go to your local game store and get store credit and get the game that you want, right? So get these lots. If you get duplicates, go back, trade them in, and keep working forward. Print out libraries. If you go online, there's checklists. Get a checklist and check off the games as you get them. That's always fun to do. If you want to do complete boxes, make sure if somebody's selling complete in box that it's actually complete in box. A lot of people have no clue what is actually inside of boxes. They think that if a game is inside of a box and that box has a manual that is complete, is not true. A lot of times there's cards that came with it. Let me grab one for example. This is Strider on the NES. This is a really shitty game, and I can't believe I'm even touching it. Smells like grandma's asshole. The usual, you know, early 80s nonsense. So in the box, we've got the game. We also have a registration certificate. For something to be complete in box, you need to have this rebate ticket if it's part of the actual collection. Then we've got a poster for Capcom, because that's something that they did. They put all of their games in like a promotional pamphlet, like a little bit of a poster. Also, an advertisement for Nintendo Power, right? And then finally, we have the no manual. So you know what that means? This isn't complete in box. And that's the thing about collecting games, is that you learn over time exactly how to do it. So let's go ahead and recap a little bit and talk about what we spoke about today, because the episode is fucking over and we need to discuss things. State-of-the-art, high resolution. My ass. All right, let's go ahead and recap. Who are you as a collector? Are you a loyalist? Are you a purist? Or are you a scavenger? I'm a scavenger hybrid purist. That's how I do it, right? What are you going to collect? Are you going to get the console? Are you going to get the games? Are you going to collect for the PC? All of them, different costs, different approaches, different everything. Where are you going to collect things? eBay, stores, or flea markets? I strongly advise against flea markets because you're just throwing your money away. When are you going to collect? When you have the money. Don't go out there and collect if you don't have the money. That's stupid. You're wasting your time and your money, and you could just save up for something really awesome and a really cool piece of history if you just sit there and wait just a week or two. Why? Because you wanna, and how? However you really want to. Pick out individual games, go to garage sales, buy lots off of eBay. It's pretty simple. But this is just the first episode in this style. There's a bunch of stuff I want to talk about. We're going to go through controllers, we're going to go through peripherals, we're going to go through games, we're going to go through consoles. We're going to basically supplement everything that the Ready Go Gaming Show does by looking at the systems specifically, right? So it's going to be a good time. Anyway, if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see a specific console be showcased, down in the comment section below, tell me so that I can get that on the list of things to do. Cool? Awesome. As always, guys, from my family to your family, good energy, good vibes. Fortifire out.